see any graphics, you will see that SKT has retained Tal and Effort into the lineup. Also Blank, I guess we should say. So no visit of Wolf into the starting lineup here is going to be something to note. The bans do start, and SKT don't want to deal with the Jace any longer.
Yeah, they never want to deal with that. And similar bans on the side of KZ, at least with the Vladimir. This time we are not going to be seeing the Sejuani. Still no AD carries have been banned out here, and even a Kha'Zix ban by SKT.
Could be a last ban Kalista, just to really empower Engage from the bot side, but no guarantees on that one. A Ryze first pick is looking very possible as well. Maybe you just ban away the Ryze and accept that Azir, Malzahar, these will have to be the mid laners that will be considered. Very difficult to choose from here, but SKT, the Ryze especially, such a big one for Faker, but they're not afraid of it. They're just going to ban away the Gangplank. Actually give us a new lease on life. When was the last time we saw Gnar and Gangplank both off the board? Vladimir also as a top laner. Top lane meta is going to be a bit different. You do see the flash onto the Nasus was banned in game 1. But the priority in Galio, week 1, almost none. Week 2, it is jumping up, and it's a first pick. That's pretty intense.
It's a whole new week, Papa Smithy. I know you're going to be here for every single one, so you can bring us through all the changes. Galio definitely going to be one of the new things here. They want to take it away from BDD. Faker always used to play it as well. It's just very high priority, as you were saying. Also, the Ezreal being hovered here by Kingzone.
Now you can lane basically anything into Galio. The only thing I've ever seen with kill pressure was the Malzahar, just the ability to just get an early Void Star for the Andres and actually do some damage. Not going to kill the Galio, but at least have threat onto the Galio. So that was one of the favorites in the past, but for now, Kingzone will hold on to their mid lane pick. You can also just go scaling against a Galio. Think of something like the Veigar that we've seen already this season. You could just go for the Azir and try to kite him out in the early game and do big damage in the late game. So a lot of options available against a Galio, not really forced to go in different directions. Corki is another favorite when it comes to scaling against a Galio, as SKT say, well, we'd like more Engage, maybe we'll have all of it.
Ooh. Maybe they're gonna take a little page out of, who was that team that did the crazy Engage comp that one game? Was that Rox?
That was Rox last year. We see the Zac measured over. Remember, it is Blank who has the Zac skin himself for SK Telecom T1. The Camille was flashed. I feel like Kingzone have been the most heads up about the mind game, showing picks that they're not going to select and then moving over to other priorities. But Tal will have the ability to just rush onto that Camille pick, and the Kalista I mentioned is taken, so we're getting some ultra comfort here for SKT.
Also very high tier picks in terms of the AD carries. Kalista versus the Ezreal, and another high tier pick right there, Azir, making its way through the draft this time around. It's the game saver, right? The one pick that can save you even when it's like 1v3 on the Nexus.
Nobody beats Azir at 70 minutes. It's been one of the sub-stories of the LCK in 2018 so far. I want to pay a bit of lip service to the fact that Blank is our most noted jungle Camille player of the pro players here. He's played a lot of games on jungle Camille, around 40 to 50 in the past 2 weeks. So it is a flex pick for the side of SKT. Kingzone would do well to hold on to their top lane pick to the last. We have not seen jungle Camille in the LCK yet, but we know that it can be played. MLXG did play it for RNG over in the LPL, and it has been a popular pick. On the blue side, we do see a Jax ban. So Jax jungle has been winning a lot of games, mostly through the late game. We haven't seen the early ganking from the Jax jungle. And we do see the Jarvan ban, as Kingzone want to take away some of the first round junglers. Jarvan, Camille, and Galio would certainly be quite the initiation trio.
Yeah, it's just part of that wombo combo, get into the back line and get Galio into the back line as well. They want to take one piece away, the Jarvan a big piece, the Zac as well. And 2 jungle bans there in a row for SKT.
Now Kingzone seeing a team that is likely to be 5 initiators, given that whichever support they end up with can be thrown in with the Fate's Call. Let's see how they approach the draft here, because like you say, Wombo combo is almost assured by the first 3 picks, and Camille and Galio guarantee initiation. And they say, hey, if you want to fight in an AoE, why not run the Shyvana and have all the damage potentially there? But they disrupt, and it's not Nidalee from Peanut. It's actually Cuz in the lineup, but he's another jungle Nidalee player. Kingzone had 2 options, Shyvana and then basically opting into what should be guaranteed team fights from SKT, or the Nidalee and opting into trying to poke around, trying to skirmish, and more difficult to comp to pick up, especially in the ultra late game. But it is going to be Kingzone trying to actually make the Nidalee work. I believe this is the competitive debut of Cuz's Nidalee, despite it being his biggest solo queue pick the entire summer season.
Yeah, Nidalee, very hit or miss for me, I feel. You know, it seems to work with some poke comps. It works with the Ezreal. Gives you some nice sustain, even if you're getting poked down yourself. But overall, still waiting to see how effective it is, especially in those very late game scenarios. Tom Kent's still left available, is going to be picked up by SKT.
Definitely not selecting the Nidalee for the late game, though. They're going to try to be proactive, deny us another epic game like we had in the previous one. Is what do you take into Camille has often been a question. One of the famous skill matchups is the double zones, the Hextech Ultimatum, but also the Grand Challenge Healing Field to guarantee a fight there. Fiora is going to be locked in. Khan was smiling about it. There was the overlay, there was the famous interview where he said, it's not about the Jace, it's about your fingers, play better. Fiora is in that kind of school of thought as well. She is another one of these skill matchups. She also has threat onto the Galio, even as the game goes on, with true damage. So Khan, it's always about Khan. It feels like with the side of Kingzone, he makes it all about him again.
I just love the fact that they're not saying, okay, here we do go. Match 15, game number 2. Blank taking a little bit of poke damage. The power of Nidalee at level 1.
And the invade was on. When you pick the Nidalee, whether it's Peanut or Cuz on the side of Kingzone, you expect there to be a lot of deep wards. If you know the enemy jungle pathing as a jungle like Rengar, whose ability to skirmish kind of purely depends on if he gets the drop. If he gets the drop, if he invades you, which is very unlikely, kind of need a power leash to do that, absolutely he can one rotate you and you have nowhere to escape to. If his only option is to jump from the brush onto someone who's already chunked him down, not going to be as useful in that scenario, and that's why Cuz just wants to know where he's starting. He doesn't need to take away his first camp. It's the second, the third, the fourth. Those are the ones that will be contested.
Cuz knows what he's doing on this pick. He's even got Khan with him here at the blue buff. Thinking about it, and they're going to start. Here comes the first spear, but you can see it's going to be a 2-on-2. Galio's going to get there first, but decides to back off. Looks like SKT should gain control of this, although Cuz is not leaving just yet.
But let's talk about what was denied from this. Because they monopolized the blue side, you saw Tal and you saw Blank enter the jungle, and you say, okay, but no buff was taken, you know, no harm, no foul. What usually happens when we have a mid lane Galio on blue side is a super leash on the bot side on the Raptors. We saw it yesterday from our first blue side Galio. There's no super leash available to Blank. His jungling time is going to be slower, and they're returning for an invade anyway.
So the smite was used. Blank cannot smite, but he's going straight onto Cuz. That's just what he wants. He's level 2. Cuz is getting low. The bolas are going to miss. He's got nowhere to miss. He's running right straight into Tal. That should be first blood. Blank gonna pick that up. Very smart jungling. Getting onto the Nidalee, knowing she would still be there, and getting that level 2 to fight up against her.
But a big mistake coming through from Cuz. Why would you go for the contest? You already denied there being a super leash, and there's no way to run. He was trying to juke left and right. Well, guess what? There's brush in both of them. Yeah. No way to get away from Blank. Really unfortunate stuff there from the side of the Kingzone jungler. He's put himself in a hole, and he's in a skirmish comp, in a snowball comp. His lanes need him to be battle warding the Rengar to stop Rengar being a factor, and now he's trying to get level 2 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, we can already see the result, right? Khan, he's not as comfortable to get super aggressive. He needs to put down a ward. He needs to get some vision on the Rengar. Cuz is going to pick up this blue. We'll see if he continues to invade.
I think he has to.
Oh boy, look at this. Oh man, Faker already being pushed out of lane. Does have the Unsealed Spellbook and the TP already. But yeah, the power of Azir against the Galio.
So again, consider that the super leash was denied here. That's why the level 1 plan, whoever put it together, was a masterstroke. Denying the super leash, denying Blank, getting free time. But by the time he flashes, he's like, wait, there is nowhere for me to go. There's no ability for Fiora at level 1 to influence this skirmish. It just ends up being an assist, so if anything, he gives gold over to the enemy laner there. So kind of a multitude of reasons why Cuz had kind of won the jungle race a little bit from his counter jungling previous to the level 1 fight, but going for the blue, that was too much.
Khan already showing off a little bit up in the top lane.
Kleptomancy is his rune also, so every time we see any of his abilities in an auto, you know that he's going to be proccing that very happily. Q also, instant procs it, so just trying to get a bit of gold generation going. Khan's Fiora, always a delight. Right at the start of summer season, when we're still learning about Khan, in a loss to SKT, he had that very famous game where he turned around a 1v3 in the enemy jungle. They went on to lose it, but everyone was talking about Khan's Fiora, and he was known as a Fiora one-trick before he came back into the competitive scene in his recent days in solo queues. So very famous on this champion, but his win rate doesn't necessarily line up with the hype. His individual performance is great. Kingstone's ability to turn around and to translate his pressure into game victories, that part hasn't been as convincing.
Getting aggressive on the Faker, he's gonna blow his flash already. Remember that TP is still down. BDD once again wrecking Faker in the lane. It makes more sense in this matchup though.
Summoner Airy taken for lane bullying, not going for anything else. Faker on the champion that he looked godly on at Worlds. Faker's Galio in some of those matches, 5 in a row against RNG in the semifinals. People said this was the reason they were winning, because of his ability to take over, losing top, losing bot, and roam everywhere. It's different runes now. The game has definitely changed, but no fun dealing with the Azir as the Galio early in the game before you have any magic resist to actually fight back.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to essentially hold his hand over the wounds until he can get some levels under him, get some resists, just abilities to sustain against all this. Tal gonna miss that, but see, well, was that even missed? Was it purposely missed to not get stunned?
Thanks around. We'll see that Krugs are down.
Okay, the level 6 is hit by both of these guys. Khan, he's gonna be stuck, gets stunned up. Here comes Blank. The bowler's gonna go onto him. Will they dive? Is the question. You'll notice that Blank just not confident enough to go for the dive just yet.
You also notice something even more important. Khan was not using his flash unless he absolutely had to. Holds onto it for the next gank. They turn onto a very early Drake, but they're taking a lot of damage. Ocean is very slow to clear.
That it is, but it's also fantastic early game where it will matter, where it will be hard to take early. There's a reason, and that sustain going to help out even more, especially in that top lane. We were talking about the skill matchup. That little bit of extra sustain for the Fiora will make this matchup a lot easier.
I mean, they're fighting so much that it might not actually be proccing too often because of all the skirmishing canceling. You got to look at the runes here. Nothing surprising in the inspiration tree. Very, very standard stuff that you see in basically every solo queue rune page. If you're going to be going for the Kleptomancy and then just going for the tough skin, thick skin, I forget which one it is, but the armor in the Resolve tree and Second Wind as well.
The TP, keeping those minions there. Not getting any extra damage on the turret though. Taking another look here at mid. Faker still struggling just a little bit. Has another proc on his potion. Should be okay, but you'll notice that he is getting a bit behind on the CS.
It's moments like this that, you know, one of the big frustrations of AD carry players is that a lot of their champion pool, you know, they add AD carries slowly, you know, once a year maybe. And also, AD carries have been lost to other roles. Corki's a mid laner, Graves a jungler. One amusing thing from this game is I kind of put 2 and 2 together and realized that AD carries got to teleport in and go golden in the preseason. So Riot gave them something. You can't complain that much.
That's true.
You got new summoners, you got new items, you know. What's there to be upset about?
Well, it kind of forced him into this meta of playing super passively and buying Relic Shield every time.
Hey.
I
don't want to hear this back talk, Valdez. It's my birthday, okay?
I
nailed
really
that color
sense,
point.
Bob.
It was a great point, wasn't it? Come on, tell me. It was great.
It was good.
Thank you.
It was good.
Thank you.
It was a good birthday point.
Well, Faker's had absolutely no fun in the mid lane, but only to the tune of a 15 CS disadvantage, which isn't that awful, given that we've seen him chunked out 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, hard lane, laning against Azir for pretty much anyone. Very good laning presence, as well as the late game potential you were talking about, as no one really defeats him after 70 minutes. It's part of the reason why he is top tier, if not god tier at this point. Very hard to play, though. We've noticed that some people do not play very well. Kuro being pretty hit or miss on the champion.
And we noticed that Faker has been taking on the chin this game in the damage dealt graphs. Wow. 3,400 damage to 200. He's done the least damage in the game because, well, the Qs aren't hitting, so, yep, he's having no fun at all.
Yeah. He has to Q to push the wave. BDD obviously wouldn't stand in the Q.
I feel like his expression right now is the same expression he had after the loss in game 1, stone-faced.
Yeah.
Being like, yes, a game is happening.
We are playing League of Legends. So
I wish I could play.
Yeah. It's warded up here. Blank is going to clear that out, it looks like. Make it a little bit more scary for Fiora up in the top lane.
Big regen advantage for Khan. Ocean Drake, you also get health regen from the Tiamat. And the Equalizing Corrupting Potion. He's going to be, I believe, spotted here, Blank, so they're going to trade reds, as, again, Faker just would love to be above 50% HP once.
Just once in his life. Cuz trying to make something happen in the bottom lane. His presence alone is going to push them off the turret, giving some substantial damage to that bottom turret, as you guys can see.
Mid lane turret will be necessarily chunked down, as Galio can only be there from time to time. Bot lane turret also taking a lot of pain. No real good news story in the lanes so far because of how mid lane has gone. BD has been able to play this lane so triumphantly so far. National's tooth done 10 minutes into the game.
104 CS. Right on time there. Blank, he doesn't really have much else to do after taking the red buff, so he's going to get to work on the Rift Herald.
He can't gank really any of the lanes, you know.
Yeah.
He's tried to gank top side, but Khan wasn't forced out of a summoner. Mid lane's Azir and bot lane's Ezreal Brahms. Good luck with both of those. So just like Ambition and his very passive ways, he's trying to take the Rift Herald. He's going to need help.
Okay, Blank. Please, man. I've had enough tension in these games.
We would need the live Faker cam if he died to the Rift Herald there.
Slams the desk and just walks out of the booth. He's like, I've had enough. I'm joining King Zone. Not sure they would take him right now, as BDD is pretty stable in the lineup.
That's definitely the embarrassment of Rich's story. I think you have to, but you feel bad about it. Khan has the ability to see wards, but there's no wards in front of him, just Tal, who they've been brawling with. Tal has gone investment banker first. He does have half his way towards the Cull cash-in as Cuz.
Okay, he's going to be flashing here, and look at this. Effort is right nearby. There's no escape for him.
Nope.
Can't jump over the wall in time, and Blank will get the kill. And they're not stopping there. They're coming behind Gorilla. Looks like a little bit, oh, okay, they're going to flash for it here. They want to get Gorilla. That's double flash. Or they're just the Arcane Shift from Prey, but at least they get the flash out of Gorilla.
I like it from SKT. They still have the hero's entrance. They're saying, okay, we can even outnumber you further. Big mistake from Cuz again, reading the jungle. He's pouncing over, trying to get more on the bot side against a litany of wards. There's so many wards there. And yet he goes for the play alone without map pressure. This is why I wasn't quick to say that Cuz on Longzhu will be better, because you think back to the previous time he played, he was all over the enemy jungle, taking away camps. It was the right time. His lanes were winning. This time he's playing the same with his lanes in a much more equal position, especially on bot lane, where the lane wasn't in the right spot. Hard to be against double teleport bot lane. So he doesn't adjust his playstyle, and he gets punished.
Not looking quite as dominant without a, you know, a Jace that's underneath the enemy's turret and forcing the enemy jungle to not be in their own jungle.
Now, if he was just standing in the brush, throwing down spears and trying to take this turret, definitely excellent play. His top side.
Okay, Hextech ultimatum, but can he burst down Tal first? He's gonna push him away. He's going deep, he's gonna get it. The health regen is gonna come in, flashing away, and Blank should be able to get this, but what the hell? Khan gets away, and Blank goes golden.
It wasn't even close, Valdez. He still had his riposte and stopwatch available.
Unbelievable. Khan putting on a mastery show in the top lane. Saying to Tal, you should fix your fingers, buddy.
Every time I watch this man on my screen, I feel like I learned something new, that I see something new. Only he can redefine champions. I've seen hundreds of times. There's been plenty of Fiora over the years, but his economy of holding on to both the stopwatch and also the riposte is outrageous. We're going to watch the replay here. As he starts, he uses the riposte the first time. He's going to be up by the end of this. Trust me, I was looking at the cooldown. He goes for the all-in. He's going around, flashes in, gets the auto attack. No, nothing for the hook to get onto here. There's so much minion tanking that Blank's like, I've got this, but uses his stopwatch. Khan gets away. Outrageous stuff from the Fiora.
Okay, well, we got the Fiora up top 1-0. Sitting pretty, has the Ravenous Hydra. Oh boy. This is
one of those days,
God,
huh?
Just one of those days for SKT.
Yeah.
Those guys they gotta be frustrated. Faker, we know he gets frustrated at times, having trouble in his top lane. At least Blank was doing good. He's sitting at 2-0.
Got the Rift Herald as well. He's going to use it in the mid lane. This is when Azir had backed. I imagine it was about timeout. Looked not necessarily like it was going to min-max the turrets. Not really sure what to make of that one. Does get them lane pressure for a little bit. The Drake's not spawning for a little while, so I don't really get the Rift Herald there. He had some junk in his inventory, a Rift Herald and a stopwatch. Doesn't anymore, so yeah. Less buttons to press now for the Rengar. Oh!
It's a lot of damage. Red buff 2 that they stole earlier on. Effort is nearby, but Blank nearly goes down.
Yeah, things are escalating really badly here for SK Telecom T1. The last 3 engagements on any part of the map have gone completely the way of Kingzone. BDD not going to be able to get autos on the turret, so credit to Faker despite his health bar woes. He has been able to keep his turret very healthy. For now, Prey and Gorilla are sticking in the bot side. They have no ability to freeze the wave because of Iceborne Gauntlet onto the Ezreal, but they can invade with their jungler. Trying to spare some of the woes for Kuz, who's been the only person to fall on the side of Kingzone this game.
Oh, they're going on to Faker here. He's got some help. It's 4 members up against Faker and 2 red buffs. Tom Kent comes in and will save his life, but look at the pressure we're going to have in mid lane now. Double red buff and no way to get near any of these members. Should be the mid lane turret going down.
And it may not be the Nunu, but you can give attack speed as the Nidalee to the Azir in the mid game as well. Try to superpower him a bit. Maybe they've been duoing with the Azir Nunu and they tried to find the closest approximation in the game right now. Is Tal is way behind in items, so should not be taking a true 1v1 and does just pull away. Looking at the jungle proximity here, so much time from Blank spent on the top side to both relieve pressure, to create some doubt in the mind of Khan, and you know, he hoped, of course, to be fruitful into a gank. The gank didn't happen. When the gank did happen, Khan turned on the style under the enemy turret. All of that time wasted.
They're going. Here we go.
Who wins this, though?
Ultimate coming in. Can he 1v2 this time around? That's the real question. He wants the grand challenge here, but this time they've got Galio near. And that's going to be enough to take down Khan, or is it? He's still going. Always got to catch myself, but 1v3, not this time.
I mean, it's 1v4. There was actually Callista walking up as well, trying to get involved. So that was a lot of bad guys. In the meantime, mid lane turret goes down as he's going to keep pushing. In fact, everyone's pushing. They were so tilted about the last attempt to kill that they really, really tunneled on killing that Fiora.
Certainly seems that way, giving a lot of map pressure and part of objectives as well. Even Nidalee coming down, they want to try to secure even more damage onto this turret.
Yeah, both inner turrets below 50% HP. Kingzone need to play brawler. They need to play aggressively because of the Nidalee. Nidalee has been well held in the game so far, and they're doing it. We found out a few days ago that Kingzone, when they get started, can do crazy things as Tal's being smart here.
Oh boy. Prey is getting low, though. They will force his flash out. Faker is nearby, doesn't have that heroic entrance. Tal, he wants to go in. There's the flash. Immediate exhaust, and they turn it around. Back onto Tal. He's forced to be devoured and pushed away.
Definitely a team that trusts each other. When Kingzone got the lead in Game 2 of their last series, they blew away the enemy. They have it in terms of kills, but in every other variable, they are insanely far ahead of SK Telecom T1, who it almost feels like they need to stick the next gank or the next skirmish because they've been oh so close multiple times. It hasn't been fruitful. A 3-0 Rengar, the only real good news story for SKT.
We'll see if Blank can be the carry this time around. He's certainly having a better game than Cuz on this team. was noticing Faker actually trying to clear the minions. He missed 2 of them when there was nobody nearby. I hope it's not a bit of frustration coming into effect, or maybe it's just been a while since he's been spamming the Galio.
I won't necessarily read too much into that, but I will into his item build. Rod of Ages, not the expected magic resist, so it does mean he's more susceptible to the BDD poke. He's trying to go for the team fight here. Rod of Ages into Morellonomicon. The AP heavy build that Lava showed for the Rocks Tigers is more popular in solo queue. Kuro still full tank. A lot of people full tankers. Bot lane.
They're trying to replicate it here, but this time he gets the stun onto Blank. The heroic entrance, though. Flash coming in and a heal from Cuz will get Khan out of the way. True Shot Barrage making its way through, but the engage not successful to kill Khan this time.
Now we can answer the question. How many people does it take to take down Fiora? It's 3. It's definitely not 2. The 1v2s are not working for the side of SKT, trying to outnumber the Fiora and just provide a bit of a distraction, but in that distraction, Kaz walks over, he takes down the inner mid lane turret. Now it's a super long lane, much harder for Galio to actually be in position. They take away the enemy blue buff as well. The amount of map control they're losing trying to kill the damn Fiora is really losing them basically every advanced position they have on the map.
Yeah, it's the second time it's happened, and we'll see if SKT mixes that up. Maybe they'll just give up on trying to kill Khan. Let Tal essentially take a losing matchup and get pushed in a little bit just to get some more pressure elsewhere on the map.
To be clear, it is not a losing matchup from the start, but in this position where there is gold on him and a CS advantage, it gets harder and harder. It's a true skill matchup. Reminds me of some of the ones that Ari used to have in the mid lane way back when we would say skill matchup. That's why it's so exciting, because it's flashy. It's a flashy skill matchup. You know, something like Shen versus Maokai is also a skill matchup, but that's about your skill at teleporting, your skill at reading the map. This is the 1v1 skill matchup, and that's why it's more exciting, because it just bursts into life basically every time the camera moves over to Khan and Tal.
Yeah. Well, seems like we've slowed down a little bit, but as I say that, Grand Challenge is used. Hextech Ultimatum, he's got Rengar nearby, but a perfect riposte right on the timing. Now we got another 1v1. Blank, you're not going to win that. He's got to run away. And already we're seeing what happens when you leave Fiora alone up against Tal.
And no ability for Faker to get there because he has other things to contend with, like an Azir, who's playing as if it's solo queue. He's pushing up. Yeah, I'll take a minion wave at your inner turret, whatever. No worries for him at all. Kuz is able to take the pandemonium across the map, makes it perfect for Nidalee. This is how you dream of every Nidalee game going, because it's never a 5v5. There may never be one in the game.
They're trying to be proactive. They're trying to get picks and snowball it into something, but it's against a Nazir. It's so hard to do that.
And every time they use 2 or 3, every time they try to wombo, well, they lost an objective top, they might lose an objective bot lane. This is the full court press team comp. This is the skirmish comp. We saw MVP try a Nidalee draft like this, not be able to pull it off. But when you have some of the most exquisitely talented players in the world on the same roster, Khan and BDD, you know, when it comes to mechanics, right up the top there, they can take skill matchups, they can take winning matchups in the mid side. They just make their headaches for SKT in every part of the map, and for SKT who just want Rengar to rush in as Galio ults, throwing in a Tahm Kench and then a Hextech Ultimatum. They've just never been able to do that in this game.
All SKT wants for LCK is a turret right now. They're not going to be able to get one as they're denied, and even the Fate's Call being used to get effort into safety.
All SKT wants is for Kingzone to group up as 5 in mid lane and start poking next to an inhibitor. That's the part where they're like, let's wait for our chance. Let's engage 5v5. That is what Kingzone never want to do. They want a Baron. They want to push 3 lanes. They got kill pressure in the Fiora lane. Azir can push out the Galio. The pandemonium on the Rift is what Kingzone drafted for, and it's what they've caused, even if the kills do read SKT 3, Kingzone 2.
Let's take another look at this replay and how exactly Khan wins the 1v1.
Equal in levels, but Khan is up in items. Too much free damage by Tal. The ult goes down. By the time he uses the ultimatum, his life is over. He's always going to die. Blank may be 3-0, but it doesn't matter. You do not 1v1 a near full health Fiora. He runs away sheepishly. He's ulted now, though, but just scouting. Just trying to get much vision control as possible. The Baron buff going down is SKT's worst nightmare. The longer they can delay that, get us to the Fiesta 40 minutes, the better.
That's the dream. They're just trying to plug all the holes right now. We'll see if they can actually do it. Trying to get whatever vision they can around that Baron. You can see Blanks up there, but this time Effort is going to get caught. The ultimate coming out, and then Italy coming in too. Does have that flash, but the Fate's Call still down. Almost means the death of Effort.
They have to use so much just to keep him alive. Now Blank's caught.
He's alone. He was over there trying to ward the Baron, trying to come from behind. Did not work out.
And that right there is Effort's fault. He walked up with Fate's Call down, is turned upon, and then Blank just has to pay the price of his support being out of position with no ultimate. And remember that Baron that was the worst case scenario? It's the reality.
24 minutes and 27 seconds, and we're going to have our first Baron of the game here for Kingzone. They're not slowing down anytime soon. And we talked a lot about tension and, inexperience. Perhaps the pressure right now is getting a little bit to Effort and some of these younger players because they're not handling it very well.
Why does it always look so much better with Cuz? You have to say, is these second games, whether it's second games, will this happen if Cuz starts a series?
Even when he feeds.
We don't know the answer. He's made some huge mistakes this game. If it looked like a rookie mistake at level 1, this is a rookie mistake from Effort. He walks up and he's like, yep, Fate's Call. But remember, that was nerfed recently in a couple of patches ago, longer cooldown. They have to use Galio ult. Effort's gone, and then the poor Rengar, who's just trying to ward, is caught. I mean, unfortunately for him, you can't have that happen and then also be able to clear wards. So goodbye, Blank, paying the price for the sins of his new support. And now Kingzone have the Baron. And now that Fiora has a Baron buff to make those headaches come even quicker for Tal.
Yeah. You notice he was trying to clear the control ward, but at that point he knew he was dead. I mean, there was nowhere for him to go, so he might as well try to take out the ward. It looked weird, but he had to do what he had to do at that point. He was already caught, had the Azir behind him and 3 members of KZ in front of him. So the full court press, it's going to come in after Khan gets red buff, no doubt.
Oh. Level 16, 2 levels up, a Warden's Mail, a Spectre's Cowl. Do you know what this build says to me?
What does it say, Papa?
What you got? Magic damage, physical damage. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Bring all the bad guys. If you send 4 here, he probably takes at least 1 with him.
You'd have to imagine at this point. He's got the red buff now, too, so it's not like that guy can get away. The unlucky soul that he chooses most likely will be Tal.
And Kingzone won a good enough team to play this style when they were last playing Fiora, right at the start, the first round robin of summer season. They hadn't gotten everything together. But now that BDD has taken strides, now he really is more than just, I hold my thought, but more than just a Galio player. They have so many new styles and champions they can play, and they also have an inhibitor at 26 minutes.
Yep. Effort seemingly getting caught again in the front. He was right next to the base, but you can get caught anywhere at this point. They forced the Fate's Call out, and they essentially just let their inhibitor melt. Everything is going down right now. Turret after inhibitor. Kingzone pushing the top lane. Tal finally takes a decent trade, but again, it's Fiora. We'll see how that's going in a couple minutes.
No real engage here unless Rengar goes in, but he's just stutter-stepping. He knows he can't dive in. They will lose a 5v5, a 4v4. Anything at this point in the game. They haven't been able to cement the items. They are behind 14,000 gold.
It's 3-3, and they're 14,000 gold behind. The kills truly don't matter, guys. 8 turrets. Blank disappears! A spear into an Azir combo, and he just disappears off the map. This game might be the fastest game we've had. 1v1ing Tal is Khan, and they're going for the end.
End pre-30 minutes, unthinkable, Valdez.
What is going on? That's going to be the 2-0 as well. Combo onto everyone that SKT has. Even if Gorilla goes down, he doesn't even. It's going to be the ace and the sweep of SKT in a 2-0 victory. KZ are the champions today. 3